United States Department of Justice on September 6, 2011, wrote to the Attorney General about the town of Salisbury tax fraud, and she explains that they got a grant in 1985, and Salisbury was under a mandate, and that
So this is Martha Coakley.
they sent it to Martha Coakley.
She did nothing to help us. The Inspector General and the Department of Revenue, not one of them followed up.
And I gave it to the Office of the United States Trustee in Boston, and nothing has been done to date to help about 1,000 people in Salisbury who got their money extorted from Salisbury. Just beyond.
It's $7.8 million plus 8.05% interest.
So
They made a bundle of money.
Is there any way the whole town of Salisbury can now go after?
It's not the whole town,
Like,
it's the ones in the
I know,
betterment.
but these people, can't they do a class action suit against the town?
They
And you could be part of that. You give them all this information.
I think a lot of them are
They're
intimidated. A lot of people we know are intimidated.
Pretty bad. Wow.
You really got to hear the story
We got to see a
firsthand.
lot of documents. I brought them in, I showed them, I said 1981, it cost $1.7 million.
Wait a minute,
They
wait a
brought the grants.
How long was
How do you
that?
come up with
About
$7.8 million?
No, it's about 20 minutes.
How many?
Can you just show me that document once more? I want to make sure I got it because it looks like, I don't know, okay, I just want to get the names on this document. Department of Justice. And then,
It was September 6, 2011. They sent it.
yeah, and then,
The citizens signed a petition to Martha Coakley asking for some action. No results.
how many citizens did you get?
I don't remember.
About 28 pages
Yeah.
of names.
No, on the
The
petition,
petition,
no.
about 2.5 pages, a page and maybe 2 pages of names.
That's about 80, don't you
They
think?
did nothing.
100?
They did nothing. We sent it certified mail.
Yeah. Nothing.
They asked recently, well, it's just you? Were you the only ones who were affected by this? And
Yeah.
why did everybody pay the bill? So I said, that's a good question. I don't know. So I put it on Facebook. And I wrote, how many people paid this bill and why did you pay it? And did you know it was paid by federal and state grants? Well, I have 28 pages of names of people who said they didn't know it was paid by federal and state grants. Some of them said the town told them they had to pay it. It's your bill.
That's what they told us.
That's what they told us. And a lot of them says that when they went to the registry of deeds, it wasn't there either, but the town said that's how we do it here. So I have names. I have 28 pages of names of people who've been really harmed. And also, it's related. Not exactly, it's related. When these bills first started coming out in the 90s.
Well, aren't those names public record?
Yes.
So how about if you just, we'll publish the 28 names as part of this story?
Oh, those 28 people, they gave me the names on Facebook. I don't know if it would be okay. But in the beginning,
But if they're in the town record, then they're still, you can get them through the town
we
record.
have the assessors, the book, and the assessor's office with all the names of the people who got billed. That's another question. The town won't let me make copies of that. You have to pay
Well,
somebody.
just how about taking a camera in and taking a camera picture of it?
Can I do that?
Why not?
Well, that's good. Maybe. I asked if I could bring a scanner. And they said they haven't answered me yet. I've been waiting since March.
Well, I'll go in with you and we'll take a look at it. We'll snap it on this camera.
That'd be great. But I was starting to say that when these bills were coming out, people were being charged by the unit. And there was a motel, the El Rancho Motel, that they were being charged because of the units. They decided to remove the second floor of their motel. And when they did, unfortunately, it collapsed and 2 men died. Richard DiCarlo and Joseph McNally both died. And I found the document. I found it in the Daily News that it was because of the sewer betterment.
How come? How could the sewer?
Because they were being charged by the room. So they removed the second floor of their building so that they wouldn't have to pay all winter long. And they got killed. I understand. It's
So
a
it was
cause and
their
effect.
building And they died taking
They
it.
died because of
Do you know, how did they die? The building collapsed on them?
it collapsed on them. Several of the people were hurt, and 2 died.
Oh my
Richard
God, what a
DeCarlo and
nightmare.
Joseph McNally. I can show you the newspaper article.
Yeah, that would be
but
cool.
on it actually says that it was because of the sewer tax.
See, that's part of the evidence that could have been brought into this case to prove your point.
People did not know about it. People were harmed.
Wow.
And while we're at it, I was always a very peaceful person, and so is my sister. We're not troublesome, but we also speak up if we see an injustice. And the town was raising their sewer charges, and because I know so much, and Joyce knows so much for sewer user fees, they were raising it from $240 to $360 a year. For people, even if they weren't living there, or even if they weren't using the sewer, they were charging. So they said they had a study for about a year. So I said, can I see your study? Can I see what you've been studying to justify the increase? And they said, well, we don't have one per se. I said, well, what are you studying for a year if you have nothing to study? And how do you know that it should be $240 to $360?
Yeah,
They didn't like my questions.
right.
And we were questioning a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So they told us to sit down, and I said, I really would like answers to these questions. And they called the police. And they got
my
Joyce
God.
and I removed from town hall, so we could not go back in to ask any more questions.
For how long?
They never let us go back in for the meeting. But
They
look
voted
at
to increase it.
look at what they didn't want people to know. Look at what we found out. They said they had a $28,000 deficit.
At this meeting, they presented this document, a sewer rate study. Andy Gould is the accountant. Don Levesque is the same person who lied in the court. They wrote down the sewer enterprise, the sewer user money goes into a sewer enterprise fund. They said the sewer enterprise fund's reserves are not sufficient for contingencies or major emergencies. Bottom line, sewer rates need to be increased.
There's no numbers just
Not enough.
anything.
So now this was March 2008. Fiscal year ends June 30th. So this was their projection. Revenues 985, 934. Surplus or deficit 28,131 deficit. They raised it. They raised the sewer user fees from 240. I don't know, 240 to 360. I contacted the Department of Revenue, Mass Department of Revenue Division of Local Services. I asked for the Salisbury Sewer Enterprise Fund. In 2008, Salisbury received $651. The total revenues were over $2 million. The excess, instead of being $28,000 deficit, the excess was $954,879.
And not enough.
And the not enough in the sewer enterprise fund, they had $24.5 million.
Not enough.
So they raised the rate because there wasn't enough. In 2012, they took out $22 million.
But
Nobody knew anything about it, not even the selectmen, sewer commissioners. Tom Duggan wrote about this in the Valley Patriot Notebook on page 14. They called it at the Maytown meeting. They called $460,000 from the sewer enterprise fund free cash. It belongs to the people who paid the sewer user fees. If there's an excess, they're supposed to reduce the rate the next year, not give it away to other people. But they did. That's
And
it.
now, I just heard this week, they're having a meeting because they don't have enough again. So they may be raising the rate again they're talking about it, maybe next week. So
Will that be a meeting?
they're supposed to have a meeting.
Now, is that recorded on cable access?
They do, but sometimes they run into technical difficulties.
Okay, so how about if the technical difficulty lady shows up?
If you go, you can record.
Yeah.
I've recorded a meeting if I
Yeah.
had to.
Yep.
You can go.
So we'll make sure there's no technical difficulty.
So that's it. So they didn't have
Wow,
enough.
that's unbelievable. Well, I'm going to hire you as investigative reporters.